Maybe I should have brought the truck. I forgot about this road. If it was any softer, we'd be in big trouble, Jake. We're going to meet up with our friend, Paul Marshall. Gonna do some shed hunting, walk his farm, some areas that he's never been into before. Bit of a rough road here, but I think we're through the worst of it. Oh! How's it going, Don?
Good, how are you?
Very good.
I'm Jake, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, I told Jake we'll probably have to find an alternative route going home.
There isn't much for an alternative route. The alternative is even worse.
Well, it's March 7th, down here at my dad's farm in Missouri. Got Jake and Greg with us. We're going to start do our first shed hunt of the season. We're just going to start from the house, and we got, I don't know, probably 20 acres of woods here maybe. We're going to hit this, and then we're going to come back, jump on the UTV, and we're going to head down where all the food plots are, where we were hunting during the late season.
Greg and I are down in northern Missouri today with our buddy Paul Marshall, and I just wanted to show you guys a really good example of a buck bed right here. We got some fresh rubs, got rubs from years past, big bed right there. He's bedding here with the south wind coming right over his back. You can see right in the bed he's got all this stuff browsed off. Again, big bed right there, another bed right there, cover at his back. I think this is going to be a pretty fun day of scouting.
Swing and miss. Strike one. That was fun walking that though, because I've never walked back in here, so you see where all the trails are. We found some good buck beds. Even though we didn't find anything, I learned a lot about this part of the farm. So we're gonna go on to the next spot down by the food plots. And hit this triangle piece right here. This is all TSI'd. I don't know, probably a couple of years before you bought it, I think. Yeah, so it's probably been 5 years, 5 to 7 years, so it's real thick. We've been shed hunting for a couple hours and we still haven't found anything, which is pretty surprising with all the deer that we were seeing late season, but I think some of the deer still have them on. But we just hit this big, thick bedding area behind us. We got about half of it done. My dad and Jake are finishing up on that, and then Greg and I are going to hit this ditch down to the bottom, and we're going to meet him down there where the food plots are, so hopefully we find something down there. But this tree right behind me is the highest point on the property, and it's where I had a really exciting hunt this year for a buck I call Holyfield. Holyfield's a buck that had been on the farm since my dad bought it, and we called him that because he had a chunk of his ear missing, but I was able to harvest him on November 7th this year out of this tree. It was awesome. Unfortunately, I was by myself, but I was able to get it on video. I just shot Holyfield. So the day before I harvested him, I was up in the tree and I grunted, just did a blind grunt about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and this ditch over here behind me, he came running up out of that ditch and stopped out here about 50 yards, and I didn't have a good shot at him, and it was pretty windy anyway, so I don't like taking that long of a shot. He looked around, didn't see anything, so then he just kind of trotted down into this woods over here. And so the next morning I had the same wind, so I decided to just come right back here because I saw so much deer activity. And again, late afternoon I did some blind grunts, and he came back up out of this ditch. And the trail he was standing on was right here. This is really thick back in here. Came up this trail and he stood right here. And I mean, it's maybe 20 yards to my tree stand. He was facing me and I was trying to get the camera on him. And before I could get the camera and draw my bow, he turned and walked back because he didn't see anything. He went down this trail right here. And then about right here is where I tried to stop him the first time. And if you can see from the video that he didn't stop, he just kept going. And this was my last opening, so I basically yelled at him as loud as I could, and he stopped right here. And I was able to get a shot right through this opening, small opening right here. And I was able to shoot him, and he went down in these deep ravines over here and maybe went 80 to 100 yards. So it was the biggest deer we've killed on the farm in the 3 years. Just an awesome, awesome hunt, awesome buck. And you know, hopefully we'll have some more hunts like that, some more bucks to hunt like that in this area. But another big buck moved in after I killed him, and so we're actually looking for his sheds right now, so hopefully we can get on him next year. One thing Greg and I were talking about is as I told him the story about the hunt, this buck was a dominant buck, and each day I grunted to him, he came up right to the edge of cover, looked around but didn't see anything, and then left. So one thing we were thinking about, maybe this would be an awesome spot for a decoy up on this ridge, since it's the highest spot. You know, bucks in the area can see from the bottom, and then down this ridge up here, if they cut across and I grunt, maybe having a decoy out there would be able to draw them in and be able to close the deal. So you get these dominant bucks that are old, they're also very smart. When you call to them, they can basically pinpoint where you are, and if they come up there and they don't see anything, they tend to turn around and just go back. There's a reason they got that big. But we're gonna go ahead and head down that ditch that leads into the bottom where we had all our food plots. Saw a lot of deer transitioning down through there, so we're gonna shed hunt that down to the bottom and then look through the food plots down there. First shed of the day. That's cool. Oh, that makes me feel good. We're gonna at least found one. All these deer we saw, and one shed is all we found so far. All right, it looks like we got the DNRs over here. They came to my dad, I don't know, probably 2 years ago after I shot a banded turkey, and they asked him if he'd be willing to let them capture some turkeys and band them. So it's for a study that the DNR is doing. Not 100% sure what it's all about, but my dad's working with them right now. You can see they got the nets they have. They're called rocket nets. Apparently they shoot over the turkeys, and then they capture them and they can tag them and release them back after they tag them. So a couple of years ago, Scott and I were hunting, and we had a big tom turkey coming in. And part of when you buy an out-of-state license, you get 2 deer tags and 2 turkey tags. And we weren't seeing a lot of deer, and this tom came in, and I was able to get a shot at it.
Did you get it? First kill in Missouri, dude.
NDC $100 reward.
It is not. Let me see it.
$100 reward. Is that a tracker?
Are you kidding me? We didn't even see any of this.
When we recovered it, we saw that it had a GPS tracker on it and a band on its leg. So that was super cool. It's probably like once in a lifetime type turkey that I killed that day. And it was pretty cool. I got the history from the DNR of that turkey. They captured it and banded it probably about 3/4 of a mile to a mile away from where I actually shot it. So that study, they were researching how far these turkeys travel. So we got 1 shed so far. So it's not a complete loss of the day. We got to do a lot of scouting. The stand right here, Greg actually came down and hunted with me early season this year, and we had probably one of the coolest encounters that I've ever seen. We got up in the tree, and we had a baby bobcat sleeping up in the tree next to us, and then a few hours later the mom came and was all kinds of mad. But it was a cool experience. Probably something I'll never see again, to be in a tree with a bobcat. So that was something exciting. We're just gonna keep looking for some more sheds, and hopefully we'll find another one. There should be a fence in there. You can just look through that bottom area.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And then there should be another big trail that drops down. It comes up over on the other side of this little woods. Right there. Second one of the day. Right on the trail coming out. It's a nice buck. We got a picture of this one.
Ooh, there we go. Deadhead. That's too bad.
Found 2. 2 right here. Yeah. Greg found a big dead buck.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, that sucks, man. Oh, that's the 10-pointer that disappeared last year. So he's been dead for
A year.
over a year. I wonder what happened to him. All right, well, I think we're done with the shed hunting for today. wasn't too bad. Found 4 sheds and a buck that disappeared last year, so it's nice to know where he's at. And this is a buck we were all passing, and typically, I mean, this is not a buck you would pass. You know what I mean? Back in Illinois where we live, if this buck comes by you, you're shooting it, especially Scott. He doesn't pass up too many bucks, but
Yeah, that's awesome.
you know, this is a different experience for me. I mean, if you watch my hunt from this year where I killed Holyfield, that morning I passed up a 10-pointer probably similar to this. And that's difficult to do, but, you know, I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to do that. Even if I don't get to harvest it, just the whole experience of planning a food plot, coming up with a game plan to try to get on a deer like that is pretty fun. Got a lot of stuff for me changing anyway. I worked in law enforcement for the last 15 years, and just through the course of some things happening, I decided it was time for a career change, and I wanted to get my kids out closer to my mom and dad's on the farm and get them more involved out here. So we're moving to Des Moines. We're in that process now, so we're gonna have a lot more time down here on the farm. You know, Scott and I, we're gonna be separated now, but we've lost the Skinny Pinch property, which is our #1 property back in Illinois, but gosh, we've had that probably since 2007.
Almost 10 years, huh?
2006, I think, was the first year we hunted it.
It became one of the most famous stands that
and
I'd ever heard of.
What's crazy about the Skinny Pinch is if you look in that area, you look down the river, there's tons of spots that pinch down like that. There's just a lot of sloughs in that area. And you know, Dad, you've owned this for 3 years now?
Just about.
So, I mean, the 3 years we've been here, we've done pretty well. We've killed 4 nice bucks, a bobcat.
Yeah, because first year, Scott shot
Yeah.
the buck after he was sick in the stand.
Yep, and that was a
Shot
beautiful
that big
buck.
8-pointer.
And the same year, Dad shot the 7 down here at that Lone Oak.
Yep. Same year that you shot the turkey with the tag and the radio
Yep.
collar, is that right?
Yep. But it'll be nice being down here. This is a lot different style of hunting down here with all these hills and ridges. It's a lot harder to get a consistent wind. But, you know, ultimately what I want to do is I just want to create a lot of traditions, not only just for my family, but my friends. And because, I mean, in all honesty, that's what it's about, being able to share like this with other people is what's enjoyable for me. You know, being out here with my dad, just roaming around, finding deer sheds, and it's that camaraderie that you get is what I find value in. So,
I mean, I hate that, you know, you and Scott hunted together for so long. You kind of hate to see that, you know, you guys not have that time together, but we're excited to have you down here. And
and he'll get down here hopefully, so at least get him down. If I tell him he can buy a muzzleloader tag, he'll probably be
that'll get him here.
That'll get him here, because that's a lot easier to blow. So anyway, it was a great day, and I appreciate you guys coming down.
Heck yeah, start of a tradition.
Yep,
It was fun. As long as you got to get on the road to get to work.
Yep. Get up there, eat some lunch, pack my stuff up, and head off to the real world.
This is my real world.
You know, I don't want to wish my life away, so.
Well, it goes too fast.